There are many tools that will allow students and teachers to collaboratively work together in an online or remote environment. Whiteboard.Chat is one of those tools and the one we're going to be focusing on today. Before I jump into the details, I do want you to take a look in the upper right-hand corner where you can see that there are free seminars that Whiteboard.Chat puts out in order to help you to better learn their tool. So take a look at those and see if there's one that you might want to attend so that you can better learn the ins and outs of Whiteboard.Chat. These are about an hour in length. So to get started, we're going to click on this blue button down here that says Start Drawing. And when we do, we're going to see four options here. Manage Boards is where you would click if you want to bring up past saved boards, things you worked on with your class or things you've worked on to get ready for your class and that you want to access. Those are under the area called Manage Boards. Start Collaborating is one whiteboard that are being used and added to by multiple people. So this is similar to like a Google Jamboard where everybody is working on the same board at the same time. Start Teaching is a little bit different. In this case, the teacher has a whiteboard that they're adding content to, and that is being pushed out to students. So each student has an individual board or a workbook that they are working on their own. So this is different than the collaborating in that they aren't working all on one page together. Rather, they're working on their own work, and a teacher can see all of the work and jump onto their boards to help them. This is really what makes this tool, one of the things that makes this tool unique from other whiteboard tools. And this is where we'll spend the bulk of our time. Last thing before we go to that area, if you are a student and you are looking to join a classroom, you would put the classroom code right here to join the class. So let's go ahead and click on Start Teaching and get started. Okay, now that we're on our board, the first thing you might notice is an ad down here in the lower right-hand corner. I should have mentioned that there are different pricing plans for this tool. I am on the free version, and what that means is several things. All of the features, with the exception of just a couple, are available to you under the free version. A couple of things you need to keep in mind. You will see ads only on the instructor station. So students will not see ads. This is only something I see on the instructor side. Another thing to keep in mind is that you can save up to 10 active boards in the free version, but there's a way to export additional boards so you can bring them in later. One of the things you won't have are things like a grading report from students, but for the free version, I think that you'll get plenty of features to make it worth your while. Okay, so now that we're here, you can see that there are quite a few things on this board, and let me give you just a quick little overview of what we're seeing here. On the left side are all of your tools. We have drawing tools, writing tools, erasers, ways to upload content to your board, ways to add additional media and things to your board, the select tool, move, a lasso which will allow you to select several things together, and a pan which will allow you to move things. The first thing we should do at the top here though is we should name our board. So I'm going to go ahead and choose to call this Tutorial Practice Board. Obviously this would be something meaningful to you. All right, also up here at the top, if we are selected onto the drawing tool, you will see that we have a lot of different options here where you can change the color of your pen, change the font that it's going to be writing in from here, the how opaque it is, the thickness, the font size, and so on. So when you choose your writing tool here, you get several more options that are turned on for you. Okay, down here at the bottom, I want to show you, here are the number of pages that you have in your workbook that you're working on, and you can always add pages by just choosing to click the arrow to the right. We have several views, and this will get a little more into when we want to see what students are working on. We also have a Manage Boards. Remember I told you if you wanted to get back to boards that you have created in the past, you would click there. Okay, we also have a couple of options that I want to show you under the participant panel, but we need to invite some participants in. So I'm going to do that under Invite in just a second, but I want to add just a little content here so the students have something to do once they are on the board. So to do that, I'm going to go over here where it says Upload, and I'm going to go ahead and click here. Now you can see here that there are a lot of different ways that you can bring content into your workbook area. And to be honest, teachers usually set these things up ahead of time as opposed to just kind of going on the fly, but you can do it either way. So two of the bigger ways that you can bring content in is files from your computer or anything that's stored out on Google Drive. Another one that I really love is this Upload Live Worksheets, and this is from the website liveworksheet.com, and I'm going to show you a couple different examples of how to bring things in. So I'm going to start and just bring a file in from my computer. So I'll go ahead and pause and bring in something from my computer. Okay guys, I brought this in. This is a PDF that I brought in just as an example, something they could work on. I wanted to show you the other feature on the live worksheets that I mentioned. I'm going to click the next arrow so I can get a blank page here, and I'm going to come over here and choose to upload live worksheet. Now it's asking me here for a URL, so I wanted to show you, I came over here to the live worksheets website and found one, and this is easy enough to search. Once you find one, this is just a very basic math matching worksheet. I can take the URL from here. I'm going to come back over here and paste the URL in and choose. There we go. So there's our worksheet that came in. And I'm going to have the students work on these two worksheets. Now, again, there's a lot of different ways to bring content in. I want to just mention for a second, too, this phone scanner. This is so cool. You can actually use your phone and take a picture of something. Let's say you have a piece of paper that you already have, or you're taking notes on it, or you wrote up a quick exercise you want them to do. You can actually take a picture of it, follow the steps under this area, and scan it, and it'll bring it right to your worksheet. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, and it really does work the way that it says it does. It's amazing. All right, so now that we have a couple of pages for students to work on, I'm going to come up here to the Invite button, and I'm going to click and show you that there are a lot of different ways to get this content out to students. There's a URL that can be posted anywhere you want them to join. You can bring it into Google Classroom or Teams, and here is a code that you can also just give to students. Notice that this matches the code that's up here in the top of my screen as well. So whatever way you want to get that information to your students, if you're on a Zoom call, you can put it in the chat, you can email it out, however you want to do it. So let me go ahead and take this, and I'm going to bring up a second window to show you that I have added myself as a student as well. Let me do that now. Okay, I want to show you that I brought up a new incognito window to log on as a student. I have the code pasted right inside of here. That's that same main page we were on before, and I'm going to choose to join the class. When I do that, it went ahead and brought me to the board. Now, if this is the first time that a student has been there, it'll ask them to join with a name. I practiced this a little bit earlier and added the name incognito to it, so it remembered that. So you can see here under the student view, and again, this is just what a student would look like. You can see that they have their own board. It was called Tutorial Practice Board, and that's what I called mine, colon, the name of the student. No students need to actually log in, and they could even log in with a number if you wanted them to be more anonymous, or some sort of code name that you might give them. From here, the students can see the two pages that I have set up for them. This will work also on a mobile device. So I am logged on with a computer, but you can also, I've tried this on a phone as well as a tablet, and those work as well too. These buttons on the left look slightly different if you're on a mobile device, but for the most part it looks just the same. So a student can then come in and engage with this any way they want. So let me go back to the instructor side and show you a few more things, and then we'll have the student engage with our content. Okay, so you can see now I have myself logged in as well as our incognito pretend student. I want to show you a couple of things under the participant panel that I think are important for you to know. A couple things. First thing I want to show you is that I can choose to have this feature on called Follow Teacher. If I have that on, it's not on right now, that means that the student can only be on the page that I, the teacher, am on. So leaving that off allows them to work at their own pace through the pages of your workbook. If you have that on, you're going to keep the students on the same page you are on until you're ready to move on. I can also, for any of those participants, I can make them a co-teacher if I choose to, or I can do what's called showcasing. And if I choose to showcase work, it will allow me to show that work to all the students. So if it's a great example and I want everybody to see it, I can showcase their work. A couple other things, I can lock the class if I don't want them working on anything right now, or I can lock a page. Another cool thing to keep in mind is that you can create a chat. This will pop up down here on the lower right-hand corner and allow students to chat with you during one of these whiteboard sessions. Last thing I'll just make note of here is that you can create group boards. So if you have 20 students in the class and you want to break them into groups of 3 or 4, you can create group boards for them to be able to work together collaboratively on a board at the same time. All right, I'll go ahead and close this now. I want to show you that these options down here, a really important one is called grid view. And what this will show me, I'll go ahead and click on it. What this will show me is all of my students that are logged in and what they're doing at that moment. So in this example, you can see that my incognito student is right here. I can click on here and take a look at the work that they're doing. They haven't done anything yet. I might want to go ahead and get them going on that. I can join their board and give them individualized help if I choose to. Again, I can showcase their work as well if I want to. So let's go ahead back to our student and have them fill in a little bit of this content. Oh, if I want to get back to my single view, I can just click on a single view right here. And now I'm back to my instructor view. So let's go ahead and bring up the student and have them engage with this just a little bit. Okay, here I am back on my student side, and you can see that because I'm in green right now, whereas my instructor side is blue. If the student wanted to change that, here's where they would change the color there. But the student has several options and ways to fill out this worksheet. One way is to use the drawing tools, and if I choose that, I can choose to click and draw. I can choose align, shapes, and so on. If I choose to click and draw, I can literally write it in. This is a little thick, so I would probably want to change my thickness. Make this a lot less thick. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, so that's a little clunky. What if I wanted to use text instead? I'll come down here. Text tool will allow you to do that. So if you click on the text tool, you can see there's a lot of different choices here. And these are the same options that are on the instructor side. I think maybe I'll choose click and type. So I'll come down here and I'll click and start typing my answer. Now again, I may choose that that's a little bit too small and I may change my font size here. So let me try a different one down here for you. Okay, so how about maybe I make this a little bit bigger and I choose my click and type again. All right, now that's maybe a little bit too big. Let's see if I can make this a bit smaller. All right, I talk with my mother every day. All right, so I would fill this out. Let's go ahead to number 2 here. And in this case, I need to draw matching between the two areas. So I might use the draw a line option. So I want to draw a line between this and this. I want to draw a line between this and this, and I would continue to move forward. So on the instructor side, let's see what we're seeing over there. All right, I'm going to go back to my grid view and see if I can see how that student is progressing. So I can see that that student is now on page 2. So I might click on that student and I might join them. So I can see once I'm here that they are progressing and I might want to give them some feedback. So let's say I can do that feedback in a number of ways. So I might choose to click and draw and I might say, good. Okay, I might choose to free text that with actual, instead of free drawing it rather, I might choose to use a text box or click and type. So I'm going to choose the rich text editor here and I might click in here and say, good work, keep going. All right, and with this rich text editor, you can see I can change my font, I can change the size. I can do a bit more with this than I could do in just a regular text box. So I'm going to go ahead and click off of that. Now, what if I wanted to give feedback in a little more fun way? Over here on the right, there's a couple of different things I have access to. And one of those are gizmos and widgets. If I come up here to the search, let's say I want to search for a star, because I really want to tell them you're doing a great job. I like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and click it and add it to their page. Good job. Now let's say I want to say something else. Let's say maybe a trophy, because I really think they're doing a great job. Here's another one I can add. So all of these options are available to you. I'm going to just show you some of the options. We've got animals, you've got different currencies, shapes and stickers, emojis and stickers. These are kind of fun. Here's rewards specifically, so we could have gone to that category to see what else. Oh, I kind of like this. Awesome. Let's add that. Okay, you get the idea. You can also save some of these, and they would be inside of My Objects, so you can keep some to come back to you later. Okay, so I gave them some feedback here. Let's go back to the teacher board, and I can do that by going and saying Go to Instructor. Okay, so from here, you guys, I want to show you one other thing. If you didn't have something set up ahead of time, what if you wanted to make a board on the fly and you wanted to show them something else? So I might add in, another thing you can add into this area here is different media. So you can add in a webcam, you can add in a video file, and so on. But I want to add in here a grid. So let me go back to that and add in a grid. Let's say I want to add in this. And let's say I want to add in some instructions to them. So from the text area, I'm going to add some instructions to the top. I'm going to pause and do that now. Okay, so I've added in just a sentence here that says, what have you learned today? Now on the student side, they're going to see this new page. So let me go ahead and bring that up and just show you that as well. Okay, here they are. They're going to switch to the third page. And here is their page with the sentence, what have you learned today? So the students can now come in and maybe they'll use stickers to show you what they learned today, or maybe they'll draw it, or maybe they'll write it. You can do all sorts of things with this. So let me pause and have the student add a few things, and I'll show you that we can see that on the instructor side. Okay, so the student wrote, I learned about counting and verb tense, and they added in an image here. I want to show you that you can always move things around. If I click here, I might want to pull this down a little bit. I might want to move this up a little bit. So know that on both the instructor and student side, you can certainly move and size things as well. So on the instructor side, let's see if we go back to our grid view and see if we can see how our student is doing. And I can see that, yes, I can see what they learned, and I can see that they put an image on there as well. And again, I could join it and add some feedback if I wanted to. So I'm going to go back to my single view here and mention a couple things just to wrap this up. So once again, I showed you just really the tip of the iceberg here. There's really a lot you can do with these, but a couple things I want to make sure you know of before I move on and conclude this. So on the student side or the instructor side, there is a download option where you can click and download a copy of a PDF that you can hold on to. You can download the work of all of your students if you're the instructor, or you can download, if you're the student, your work to hold on to. So maybe you worked on this and you have it to turn back into the teacher. You can download this from the student side, and you can then submit it to the teacher for grading later if you wanted to. Okay, there is so much more to know about what this tool can do, but I want to make sure you know of two places where you can look for additional help. The first is this help icon right here, which will take you through a guided tour. There are additional information about webinar trainings, a teacher and a student guide, and down here, if we scroll down just a little bit, there's also a link to their tutorial videos. So that might be helpful as well as an FAQ section. The other thing I want to point out is if we go back to Manage Boards for just a moment, I want to show you that there's an area here for community boards. This area will show you a whole host of boards that have been shared by others where you can link to it or you can make a copy of it and see how other teachers are using this tool in their classroom. And these people have been so kind to put these out there. You can actually use them if you want to by making your own copy, and it'll be put inside your Manage Boards. So this tool, truly, the sky is the limit. I showed you just a really small amount of what it can do, but I would encourage you to take a look at some of these boards and really dive into those webinars. They'll show you some additional fun games and things you can do with Whiteboard.Chat, and to open your mind up to how you might use this in your own classroom to engage students either synchronously or asynchronously, doesn't have to be at the same time, but how that might increase your engagement with your students. Good luck.